Hello, my name is Stephen Winters. My wife and I own and operate Winters Sewing and Upholstery in Independence, Oregon. I've been doing upholstery since 1966. And today I'm going to show you how to fit a cushion in this ring shell. If you have the old cushion and it fits well, you can use it as a pattern. Well, let's see how this one fits. With this cushion, if we take up a few inches in the middle, then it would be the right size. So I'm going to show you how to fit this cushion by using a pattern that we make ourselves. The first thing we do is measure across the front of the deck on the same place on both sides. And I put a yellow pin in right here. And then we're going to measure across the back. We pick a point near the back of the deck at the same point on both sides. And I've already put the yellow pin right here. And we measure from the other side the same. And we measure from the other side just the same. Be very careful that the pins in both the front and the back are exactly in the center. And then I push the pins in so only the heads will show. The pins are there just to leave a bump in the middle so we can, as we're feeling the pattern, we can tell where the center is. For the pattern fabric, we use a stable, non-stretchy fabric, and I made it several inches larger than what the cushion will be. We lay the fabric on the deck, making sure the grain goes straight with the fabric. We have a few inches, a couple inches here, a few inches on each side so that it's centered. To prevent the patterning fabric from moving, either put a heavy weight on it or, as I'm doing, putting some pins to keep it in place. The additional tools that we'll need for this, one is a 8" by 12" carpenter square and a marking device such as this carpenter's pencil. Do not use a Sharpie or other felt tip marker because that could bleed through the fabric and onto your deck, causing a lot of extra work. Using the square, we're going to use this technique. Press down on the square so this is in contact with the deck all the way across here, and so that the point of the square just about touches. Secondly, we're going to push it this way into the side just a little so that the square has contact with this all the way except to the very bottom here. We just put little marks every few inches all the way around the edge. Remember to keep this flat, keep this pressed against here. As we come to the front of the chair, the cushion curves out a little. So we take extra care to make sure that we just follow the curve on around. And we go all the way to the front here. At the back of the chair, we do the same thing. Pressing this down flat, pressing this slightly in the heel. We're marking right where the point of the square is. When we come to this back corner here, this comes to a point, so we'll have to press it in. just continue like you did here. But at the corner, we press it back into the corner. So it goes forward back as it will. On the front of the cushion, we want to put the mark right where the joint from the front and the top are. Here we're fortunate that we have a cording. Most furniture doesn't have a cording here, but here we can just mark right along the edge of the cording. Now, if yours doesn't have a cording, you just find you can use this square here to give you a kind of determination where to mark it, just where the front and the top join here. Now we're going to be adding a seam allowance onto all the marks all the way around here, but we're not going to do that at this point. Before we pick up the pattern fabric, we're going to go around all the edges and make sure that your marks are dark enough. On these pins that we put in before, find the heads and put a mark right by them so we can tell where the center is. I generally fit cushions when we don't have the outside of the arms on yet, like this is empty. The bottom of the inside arms, if the cushion is too small, which means there would be a little bit of a gap here, then we can stuff some padding up in here, at the bottom here, and that will bulge this out a little bit. And what we're doing is we're putting fabric behind, what we're doing is we're adding additional padding behind the current padding to bulge it out. Now if the cushion is too thick, which means, now if the cushion is too big a little bit and it wrinkles and gathers on top, then what we can do is we can take this loose, the bottom inside arm, and pull it tighter. And pulling it tighter will pull this in here so it doesn't bulge out quite as much, which allows for a little bit of adjustment. And so that's one reason why I put I'll fit the cushions at this point, because we can adjust it possibly, half inch or an inch one way or the other, just by if our cushion we can adjust it possibly half inch to an inch either way, depending if the cushion's too big or too small. But the idea is to try to get the cushion as closely fit as we can.